Venugopal for the post. He recommends him by stating that it was under his guidance the UDF could achieve victory this time, as in 2019 as in 2021 when Ramesh Nithala was projected as the Chief Minister of Kerala. The party, the UDF front and even the Congress party suffered a major setback, and it could not even gain more than 45 seats, and the LDF came up with nearly 100 seats, 99 seats, and for the first time in the history of Kerala, UDF had to remain without power for the 2 consecutive time, and this time it was a do or die game for the UDF, and they devised strategies and meticulously crafted plans to come into power by plotting things in favor of consolidating Muslim votes by framing a pact with all the Muslim organizations such as Jamaat-e-Islami, Welfare Party, and even Social Democratic Party of India and Muslim League. And the central leadership, despite the central leaders' strict guidelines, strict direction not to make such predictions on the CM post that would land the party in trouble, the Congress leaders in Kerala have been doing such systematic such predictions for the CM post unabatedly.
Right, of course, Shankar. So even before the counting begins in the state, we're looking at different factions within the Congress started lobbying for their own leaders. We'll, of course, have to see what happens on the 4th of May. And now, viewers, moving on to another development. Senior Congress leader K. Muralidharan now says Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge will take a final call on who will become the CM. Take a listen.
See, in our final assessment, we will get minimum 80 seats. It may go up to 100 seats. Because people want a change of the administration. Because the last 10 years, there are so many unwanted things happened in our state, including the gold robbery in Sabarimala. Law and order is totally failed. And health and education ministries are very much failed. So, the people want a change, so they cast their vote in a very huge percent.
Yes, the other worrying part is that when Karnagaran and other veterans like Antony were at the helm of the UDF, the party had a unity. And now there were some talks and differences in opinion for the Chief Minister post from various parts of Kerala. Like
it will not affect in the state of Kerala because High Command will the final authority. High Command will take a decision with the consultation of our coalition partners also, because this is not a single party government, this is a coalition government. So that reason they may consult with the coalition partners also. Then they announce one name, he will be the Chief Minister.
All right, here's breaking news coming in. TVK leader Arnab clarifies there will be no alliance talks with AIA-DMK. He also says no AIA-DMK or left parties are approaching them for the alliance. Now, we're looking at arithmetic calculations underway. In fact, just before the results kick in on 4th of May. And before that, TVK, in fact, coming out and clarifying that no talks with AIA-DMK currently for any alliance. In fact, the leader also comes out and says that left parties have also not approached TVK for any alliance at the moment. Now remember, just 2 days remaining for the results to come in, and before that you are looking at political calculations, political alignments underway, and amidst those TVK coming out and clarifying that no alliance talks with AIA-DMK happening right now.
With the election counting nearing in Tamil Nadu, we are joined by the DMK spokesperson Elangovan. Sir, how confident are you regarding the DMK victory here, with the exit polls showing a bit of hindrance for DMK's victory here?
No, out of about 7-8 exit polls, 5 exit polls have favored only DMK. Only 2 or 3, only one exit poll has predicted Vijay will come. 2 had predicted that ADMK will come. But rest of the remaining exit polls have only predicted that DMK is going to sweep. They will get at least 160 seats. That is the prediction they have got. So we are confident. We have performed for the last 5 years. Every section, every household in Tamil Nadu is benefited by these schemes of the DMK government. So we are confident that people will support us.
Coming to the left party, Communist Party, which is saying that they are not satisfied with the way DMK is conducting with the left parties, and they're saying they're not given the due what they need to be given. Even with the seat share also there was a little problem. So how do you look at this? This statement coming after the exit polls.
See, the problem here is that we have to face our enemies in a way that will put us on top. So the communist parties are with us for quite some time. Even since 1967 they were with us. So they cannot be our enemies, they are our friends. In between there may be small issues, but it is all settled. They are with us now. But since we are facing elections, we have to follow a strategy which will defeat the oppositions. So in that matter, they think that they are left out and some other parties are given importance. It's not like that. We are communists and communist parties are with us. DMK, our leader will say that if I have not seen my founder leader Anna, I would have been a communist. So that much of communist policies that the DMK is attached to, and we are following it.
Another alliance, VC, Thirumavalan, was also saying that though he's confident that DMK would win, but there are some reservations that he also stated while saying that maybe Vijay can come or something like that. So how do you look at this?
No, we are confident because we were the incumbent government and we have performed well, and all sections of the people are happy with our performance. They will vote for us.
That is the DMK spokesperson, where he's saying that though there are exit polls that might favor Vijay or other party as well, but they are confident that their efforts for the last 5 years will be fruitful for this term election as well.
All right, viewers, my colleague Shada has been very closely tracking all the election updates from on ground. Now joins me. Shada, do take us through the latest we are picking up. TVK says it is in no alliance talks with AIADMK or any left parties at the moment.
Well, the news brewed after the exit poll that the TVK would be joining in hands with the AIADMK. The question came in after TVK showed 120 seats to be winning in this particular election in the exit poll, whereas the DMK would be winning a minimum of 30 and vice versa in another poll that showed AIADMK leading and TVK in the second lead. So there were informations from both the party leaders that they were in talks to form an alliance. However, the TVK general secretaries and the AIADMK party spokesperson have made it clear there is no alliance talks at the moment, that both the parties are not looking for any ally, as they are very confident that both the parties will get majority and win on their own. It's not just the AIADMK and the TVK, it's also the DMK who is in full confidence that they will get more than 120 seats of single majority of the party alone to win. And today, Ada Varjuna met the Chief Election Officer Archana Patnaik to give complaints and make sure there's enough security given in the polling booths, in the counting place where it would be taking place, and also said there might be problems arising by the political parties if they bring in multiple political party men to the counting centers, following which, speaking to the media, he addressed that there is no alliance talks between the AIADMK or the TVK. He also made it clear, though the left parties are now going against the DMK, pointing out that the DMK did not give them enough importance, that there are no talks even with the Congress or even the Communist Party, which are now in alliance with the DMK. He stated that the TVK alone will win this particular elections with a solo majority, and that they would form the government with whoever is in the part of the TVK only, and no alliance is what the TVK leaders confirmed today.
All right, so TVK emphasizing their decision to go solo in this elections, and Shada, of course, we'll keep coming back to you for all the updates on Tamil Nadu. Now, viewers, moving on from one election state to another. Now, over 70% voting has been recorded in Bengal as the repolls are still underway. 72.37 turnout in Diamond Harbour till about 3 p.m. So we are picking up these latest numbers. 15 polling stations are part of this repolling exercise ordered by Election Commission due to reports of rigging, of booth capturing, of EVM tampering, and now we're looking at big numbers, in fact, recorded till about 3 p.m. Over 70% voting recorded in Bengal repolls. Now remember, repolling is still underway across 15 polling stations and will continue till about 6 p.m. So this number is likely to rise. All right, viewers, my tensions flared up in Falta with Hindu voters are protesting because they were not allowed to vote. A TMC candidate from Magrahat West has now called these repolls completely unnecessary. Take a listen.
अहमद जी इस वक्त हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं। सर, रीपोलिंग हो रही है, बात अगर करें तो उसके पहले जब पोलिंग हुई तो कई आरोप लगे, गड़बड़ी के आरोप लगे, टैपिंग के आरोप भी लगे कि टेप लगा दिया गया। कैसे देख रहे हैं इन आरोपों को?
एक्चुअली ये आरोप तो किया है हम, जब ये वाला आरोप जब हमारा जब स्क्रूटिनी हुआ था, स्क्रूटिनी जब हुआ था तो स्क्रूटिनी में हमारा जो आरओ था, रिटर्निंग ऑफिसर एंड जो ऑब्जर्वर था, उन लोगों से बात हुई है। सब कैंडिडेट थे, सिर्फ हम अकेले नहीं। जो 12 कैंडिडेट था वो उसका रिप्रेजेंटेटिव थे और कैंडिडेट थे, हम लोग वहाँ पर स्क्रूटिनी में था। तब तो जो आरओ एंड जो ऑब्जर्वर था वो तो कहा था कि कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कुछ रिपोलिंग का बात ही नहीं है। तो फिर हम लोगों का मालूम भी नहीं है किस लिए रिपोलिंग हो रहा है ये वाला 11 का, हम लोग को मालूम ही नहीं है। कल शाम तक 6 बजे तक ये वाला नोटिस सर्व किया निर्वाचन कमीशन ने कि रिपोलिंग होगा।
इसके बाद आप लोगों को पता चला?
हाँ, उससे पहले तो हमारा स्क्रूटिनी में कोई ऑब्जर्वर एंड आरओ दोनों ने कहा कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कोई रिपोलिंग नहीं हो रहा है।
सर, इसके साथ ही अभी जो बुजुर्गों को लेकर के शायद आपने कहा है कि आप इलेक्शन कमीशन में चिट्ठी लिखेंगे, क्या पूरा मामला है वो?
ये वाला है जो बुजुर्ग लोग हैं उनको साथ एक उसको फैमिली का लोग जाकर वोट देना देते थे, तो ये वाला अलाउ नहीं कर रहा है प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर ने। तो मैंने उसको कहा है, तो कह रहा है तो आपको आरओ से बात करना पड़ेगा। तो हम ठीक है, आरओ से बात करेंगे। उसके बाद रिटर्न जो निर्वाचन कमीशन है उसमें
तो 29 को जब वोट हुए थे उस दौरान अलाउड थे कि?
ये तो हर वक्त रहता है 1% जो अलाउ रहता है, ठीक है। ये वाला अलाउ नहीं कर रहा है, दूसरा बूथ में अलाउ कर रहा है।
अच्छा सर, इसके साथ ही अगर मैं बात करूं तो जो बीजेपी के उम्मीदवार हैं उन्होंने आरोप लगाया है, उन्होंने ये कहा है कि जो टीएमसी के लोग हैं वो लोगों को धमका रहे हैं, डरा रहे हैं, कह रहे हैं कि अगर आपने बीजेपी के पक्ष में वोट किया तो 4 तारीख के बाद हिसाब लेंगे। कैसे देख रहे हैं आरोपों को आप?
नहीं, यहाँ पर ये शांतिपूर्ण एरिया है, यहाँ पर ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है। आरोप तो कर सकता है कोई, हम भी तो कह सकता है कुछ, क्योंकि ये लोग तो ऐसे भी आरोप करता था कि हम उन लोगों का जो पोलिंग एजेंट हम बैठने नहीं देते। मगर आज तो 15 जो इलेक्शन हो रहा है 15 बूथ में, आप देख लीजिए, यहाँ पर एक ही बीजेपी का एजेंट है, बाकी 14 जो बूथ है 14 बूथ में कोई एजेंट भी नहीं है विरोधी का, बीजेपी का कोई एजेंट भी नहीं बैठा। इतना सेंट्रल फोर्स है, पर एक वोटर के साथ एक सेंट्रल फोर्स, इतना सेंट्रल फोर्स दिया है, मगर फिर भी तो कोई नहीं जाकर बैठा है बीजेपी को एजेंट। तो अब हम लोग क्या करें? अगर उसको एजेंट नहीं बैठता है तो कंप्लेन करता है, तो इसमें तो हम लोगों को कुछ करने की नहीं है। मगर
की वजह से नहीं,
यहाँ पर कुछ नहीं होगा, शांतिपूर्ण सब कुछ रहेगा। आफ्टर इलेक्शन हम यहाँ पर जीतेंगे, ऐसे ही रहेगा, ऐसे ही माहौल रहेगा, शांति का माहौल।
कॉन्फिडेंस है काफी ज्यादा
यहाँ पर जीतने का कोई नहीं है। हम मार्जिन बढ़ाएंगे कितने, इसलिए हम
मार्जिन से सर
1 लाख के ऊपर यहाँ पर जीतेंगे।
All right, more developments coming to light from West Bengal. Now, ECI has deployed additional counting observers and police observers in West Bengal. In fact, the Election Commission of India has deployed as many as 165 additional counting observers to assist the already counting observers are present in the state, and about 77 police observers to strengthen security and oversee law and order arrangements. Now, remember, this is around the counting centers for the ongoing elections to the Legislative Assembly of West Bengal. In fact, the additional counting observers and police observers have been deployed to ensure that the counting proceedings, which are set to take place on May 4th, are conducted in a secure, peaceful and intimidation-free atmosphere. My colleague Harsha has been very closely tracking all the election updates for us and joins me now. Harsha, we are looking at additional deployment by the Election Commission ahead of the counting day. More police observers are now being deployed around the counting centres. Take us through the numbers, and also why did this need arise on the ground? Because, you know, you have been covering rallies, covering the repolling as well, and we have seen today as well clashes erupted in the state.
Yes, so if you tell you, I will tell you, Ishita, that just before the counting day, the major security arrangements has been done by Election Commission of India. Additional counting officers have been deployed. There are 165, and also police observers 77 in number, like you rightly mentioned about it. And it is because keeping in mind the history of West Bengal, which has been full of violence, and to control that, the additional counting assistants have been deployed along with the police observers. The counting assistants, so as there's no chaos inside and outside the counting centers. The counting centers have been transformed into like a fortress. All in West Bengal, there are 77 counting centers right now, including North Bengal, South 24 Pargana, now 24 Pargana. Earlier, the counting centers were 108 in number, but now it has been reduced to 77. Looking at the situation of West Bengal, that there should be no chaos at all. So right now, the security enhancement has been done at counting centers.
All right, thanks, Harsha, for joining us and giving us all the latest numbers coming to light from West Bengal. Now viewers, shifting focus, and in fact more developments are coming to light from the election bound state. Now exit polls for West Bengal Assembly elections were released on Wednesday. They point to a sharply divided verdict, with projections suggesting a tight, high voltage contest between the two rivals, BJP and TMC. Now Trinamool Congress, led by Mamata Banerjee, and the BJP are in a neck-to-neck fight, according to some pollsters, while the other polls have also given BJP a clear edge, some even predicting over 200-mark victory. How will this pan out for the state? We'll of course have to see, but more in this report.
Exit polls for the 2026 West Bengal Assembly elections on Wednesday pointed to a sharply divided verdict, with most projections giving BJP an edge. A neck-and-neck fight between the two main contenders are being projected. 145 seats each for the BJP and the TMC in the 294-member assembly, with others expected to win around 4 seats. The 2026 contest has been shaped by a high-voltage fight between the Trinamool Congress, led by Banerjee, and the BJP.
150 to 175 sweep seats in what is a 90 to 95 seat gain for the BJP. The BJP, according to PMARC, is absolutely sweeping Bengal, and that explains what's been going on. Ladies and gentlemen, the BJP with a 44% vote share. 44% vote share is getting a 6 to 7% swing for it, right? And the Trinamool Congress is getting only between 118 to 138 seats. If these numbers are right, Matrice is predicting that the BJP is getting about 162 seats out of 294, safely past the halfway mark of 148, and the BJP is winning Bengal.
Campaign themes revolved around women voters, Bengali Asmita, the Matua vote, and large-scale voter deletions during special intensive revision of the Election Commission. The BJP is on course to double its tally, crossing the 150 mark. The TMC could be staring at a vote share drop of nearly 8%. Anti-incumbency and the SIR controversy, major blows to Mamata's fortress. A visible Hindu consolidation and higher turnout, reshaping Bengal's electoral map. The BJP may just cross the majority mark. A narrow but crucial 2 to 4% vote share lead could tilt the scales. The TMC falling short by 15 to 20 seats. In a contest this tight, margins will decide the winner. And if trends hold, the ruling TMC could lose over 1/3 of its seats. Bengal stands at a crossroads. Is this the fall of a stronghold or the ultimate comeback story?
All right, news coming up on the other side. Pune on a standstill. A 65-year-old man rapes and brutally murders a 4-year-old child. CM Fadnavis assures speedy justice in the case.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds the target on its own, even if the jet turns away to dodge enemy fire. It also works with helmet-mounted displays, so the pilot can just look at the enemy plane through the visor and the missile follows the eyes. This high off-bore sight ability lets
Headlines brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can. Protests erupted Falta as villagers allege TMC not allowing them to vote. Repolling underway across 15 polling stations in Bengal. Republic sets the pre-result agenda. Hindu voters allege threats issued by Jahangir Khan's aide. Republic only channel to report from crowd. Other channels now playing catch-up. Big setback for TMC. Supreme Court refuses to interfere in Calcutta High Court order. Court says the TMC's apprehensions are misplaced. Air India to trim international flight routes as the rising fuel costs and airspace closures hit airlines. Pune on a standstill. A 65-year-old rapes and brutally murders a 4-year-old child. CM Fadnavis assures speedy justice. Hello, welcome viewers. You're watching live and breaking on Republic TV with me, Ishita Mitra. And our top focus at the election-bound state of West Bengal. Now, tension gripped Falta in South 24 Pargana district as Hindu voters staged a protest alleging threats and intimidation by the cadres of TMC during repolling. Now, this comes ahead of the counting of votes for the West Bengal Assembly elections scheduled to take place on May 4th. At the moment, central forces have been deployed in the area and over 70% polling has been recorded so far. Now, these are visuals coming to light from Falta. This is where Hindu voters, in fact, have come out speaking out against the threats issued by the TMC goons and TMC troublemakers and calling for a repolling in Falta as well. Now, remember, this comes as 15 polling booths are also recording a repolling at the moment, and over 70% turnout has been recorded so far. All right, those are the visuals, in fact, on your screen showing you how Hindu protesters are finally coming out and speaking against the kind of harassment, the kind of threats that have been issued by TMC goons, TMC troublemakers to all of these voters. Now, remember, threats calling for setting their children to fire. Women have received rape threats, and all this to deter Hindu voters from coming out and exercising their franchise. In fact, viewers, as we continue to report from the flashpoint to Falta, Republic also spoke to Hindu voters who alleged that TMC workers have been threatening them and preventing them from voting. Take a listen.
कल बोला जो आप 5 साल के लिए दुकान बंद कर दीजिए, उसका वो चाबी लेकर चला गया। अब इधर इतना लोग हो गया, उसके लिए चाबी दे दिया বিকাল। তাহলে দেখুন স্যার আমরা কতটা और বাড়ি में এবং ঘুষকার প্রতিটা মহিলাকে স্যার ঠেক দিয়ে যাচ্ছে, মহিলা को रेप करने के बोला धमकी দিয়ে দেয়। ঠিক আছে, আমরা ওর কোনো ক্ষতি করিনি, যথেষ্ট কভারেট করে গেছি আজ এত বছর, কিন্তু আজকে हम कुछ नहीं पार्टी অত্যাচার করছে। মানে 12টা পর্যন্ত স্যার ভোট ভালো হয়েছে, তারপরে যারা ভোট দিতে গেছে স্যার কাউকে ভোট দিতে দেয়নি। কিন্তু স্যার দেখুন আমরা সকালে দিয়ে এসেছি, ভালোভাবে ভোট দিয়েছি, কিন্তু মানে 12টা বাজার পর থেকে ওনার টিম নিয়ে গিয়ে ওনার বুথে এই দিকটা আর এই বুথে আমার লোক, আর এই বুথে গিয়ে নানান সতেরো অত্যাচার হচ্ছে। অত্যাচার শুধু নয় স্যার, বাড়ির মেয়েদের পর্যন্ত বলে মার খাওয়ার জন্য বলেছে।
रोड ब्लॉक मत करिए, रोड ब्लॉक मत करिए, हम प्रिवेंटिव एक्शन ले रहे हैं। आप जाइए, आप अंदर लेके जाइए, आप अंदर लेके जाइए, अंदर लेके जाइए।
सर लाठीचार्ज प्रिवेंटिव, जनता जो है वो प्रिवेंटिव पर भरोसा जता रही है, बोले यहाँ बचाएगी, तो क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
अरे
भरोसा नहीं है,
पीछे करिए, उनको पीछे करिए, उनको पीछे करो, पीछे करो। नहीं, सीएपीएफ है, उनकी हेल्प के लिए यहीं पे है। ठीक है,
आज भी लाठीचार्ज हुआ है सर, जहांगीर के लोग आकर के उनको
कोई नहीं धमका,
सर जहांगीर के भरोसा जता रहे हैं सर।
सर
जहांगीर
आप अंदर चलिए।
जहांगीर के लोग आकर के
सीएपीएफ और पुलिस मिलके काम कर रहे हैं, सब उनकी सुरक्षा के लिए।
पुलिस पे तो भरोसा ही नहीं है,
नहीं सभी,
तो भरोसा ही नहीं,
आप अंदर चलिए।
भरोसा नहीं कर रहे, पुलिस से तो बात ही नहीं करना चाह रहे यादव सर, पुलिस से तो बात ही नहीं करना चाह रहे।
आगे चलो, देखो आप रोड ब्लॉक हो रहा है, आप थोड़ा साइड में आके बात करिए।
जब पश्चिम बंगाल का पुलिस अफसर आप लोगों से बात करने के लिए आया था, तो आप लोगों ने कहा उससे बात नहीं होगी, वो आप लोगों को कह रहे हैं।
पुलिस बोला उस टाइम लाठीचार्ज किया।
अच्छा, वो अभिषेक जो आया था,
हाँ, वो लाठीचार्ज किया, मेरा गांव को बहन माथा फाटी दिया, सब उस टाइम किया। तब केंद्र वाहिनी भेज दिया, इधर थोड़ा सा पीछे कर दिया, ऐसा ही।
भाई साहब, आप लोग की अब मांग क्या है? आप लोग कब तक यहाँ पे धरना में बैठेंगे?
जो इजाबिल चकदर है, इधर का प्रधान है ना, उसको बोला इधर को उसको अरेस्ट करना है, ऐसे।
किसको?
इजाबिल चकदर, वही बोला।
जहांगीर खान का आदमी?
हाँ, जहांगीर का आदमी है। हमारा जो बंगनगर 2 नंबर पंचायत है ना, उसका वो सदस्य प्रधान है इधर
का प्रधान 109 नंबर पोलिंग।
हाँ, इधर का जो 2 नंबर बंगनगर पंचायत का वो प्रधान है इधर।
उसने किया क्या है आखिरकार?
वो मेरा गांव बहनों को इधर बोला रेप कर देगा, बच्चा को बोला टोटो समेत जला देगा, ऐसा बोला, हमको मारा इधर।
अभी आप लोग यहाँ पे बैठे रहोगे, जाओगे नहीं? ऐसा
नहीं, इधर से नहीं जाएगा, इधर ही जाएगा।
कब तक ऐसे धरने पर?
इधर जब जिस टाइम विचार नहीं होगा ऐसे ही रहेगा इधर।
आप लोग को क्या वोट वाले दिन वोट नहीं डालने दिया था?
वोट दिया, जिस टाइम सीआरपीएफ जवान था उस टाइम दिया, वो 12 बजे के बाद नहीं वोट करने दिया, उधर से भेज दिया, जब बोला जाओ वोट दिया, हो गया, तुम चले जाओ, इधर से चले जाओ, ऐसा बोला।
अच्छा, तो आप लोग पोलिंग बूथ तक गए, लेकिन आप लोग को वोट नहीं डालने?
नहीं दिया।
और कितना बच्चा लोग है जिन लोगों को लाठीचार्ज में चोट लगा है?
लाठीचार्ज बहुत इधर ही है, बहुत है। वो जो मेरा बाচ্চা लोग जो टोटो में स्कूल में जाता है ना, उधर उस टाइम बोला हम जला देगा बच्चा को समेत, ऐसे बोला।
What is the issue, sir? What is it?
I am not being able to understand. I have come here and they are shouting everyone. I have to clearly get an idea. And for further comments, you must contact our superior, who is the person entitled to speak. I am not entitled to speak. আমার কোনো আইডিয়া নেই, not the I request you to please explain আসুন। I am not the competent person to speak on this. Whenever after I have come here, I have not seen any instance of lathi charge, that much I can say, and I am not the entitled person to speak. Please go. I would request you to stay away from the national highway. This is connecting several hospitals. Please stay away from the national highway.
They are saying police is protecting.
National highway.
They are saying police is protecting.
I am not entitled to speak on that. I would say this road connects several highways and hospitals. I have no idea about the lathi charge. As I just said, I will request you, please stay away from the national highway. I have no idea about that complaint. I have just come here. After that, no instance of lathi charge has happened, and I have no idea about their complaint. I have to see because everybody is shouting, and I am not the entitled person to speak on behalf of this district. You must consult.
What are you saying to the villagers right now? What are you asking?
We are saying our request to the villagers and everybody present here, please stay away from the national highway. This is connecting several hospitals, including the Diamond Harbour subdivisional hospital, which is the lifeline of this subdivision. Please stay away from the... No, everybody. I am not talking about them. I am talking about everybody. Okay, thank you. No further comments from me.
All right, US Republic also spoke to Manoj Kumar, the Chief Electoral Officer in West Bengal, on whether or not repolling will take place in Falta as demanded by Hindu voters. Take a listen.
So there's nothing in the RP Act or conduct of election rules. If somebody asks election, repoll has to be done on that basis. Repoll is only done based on the assessment of the poll which has taken place. Which has taken place yesterday. Assessment was done. Assessment was done by the State General Observer and by the team there, DO. They have sent the report to ECI. Let us see what ECI does. The difference between other area and Falta is, other area and Diamond Harbour AC, only 4 places it was found. In Magra Hat, it was found in 11 ACs, 11 booths. But here, large number of booths are there. That is why the ECI has to take a decision based on the totality of the situation.
All right, viewers, now more updates coming in the Pune shocker case. Now, Pune rape accused has been sent to 5 days of police custody. Police custody will remain till 7th of May. Now, remember, this has been given by Pune court to the accused in a 4-year-old sexual assault and murder case. It's a 65-year-old accused who's now been sent to police custody. In fact, 5 days of police custody, and we are seeing wheels of justice, in fact, moving rapidly in this case. In this case, 4-year-old was... viewers sexually assaulted and then killed. In fact, allegedly stoned to death by the 65-year-old accused. And now police action, in fact, coming in as the rape accused, a 65-year-old man, has now been sent to 5 days of police custody. Now, viewers, this is the Pune horror case that had come to light just yesterday. And today we are looking at wheels of justice moving rapidly. In this case, a 4-year-old girl was sexually assaulted and killed by this 65-year-old man. Now, she had come to visit her grandmother in the village of Pune, and this is when the incident took place. The child was lured through the promise of food and then was taken to a cattle shed. This is where the horrific crime took place, and the 4-year-old girl was sexually assaulted and then killed, allegedly, in fact, stoned to death by this 65-year-old man, who's now been sent to 5 days of police custody. Now, we have been seeing a shutdown, in fact, in this village. Entire village had come on the streets to outrage and to call for action. And now we are looking at some action, in fact, taking place as the accused has now been sent to 5 days of police custody. In fact, we also have a reaction from Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. Let's take a listen.
पुणे के भोर में जो घटना हुई है बहुत ही निंदनीय है। 3-3.5 साल की मासूम बच्ची के साथ 65 साल के व्यक्ति ने कुकर्म भी किया और उस छोटी सी बच्ची को मौत के घाट भी उतारा गया है। आरोपी को गिरफ्तार किया गया है। उसके खिलाफ फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट में मुकदमा चलाया जाएगा और हम मांग करेंगे कि इस प्रकार के आरोपी को मृत्युदंड की सजा मिले। पुणे के भोर में जो घटना हुई है बहुत ही निंदनीय है। 3-3.5 साल की मासूम बच्ची के साथ 65 साल के व्यक्ति ने कुकर्म भी किया और उस छोटी सी बच्ची को मौत के घाट भी उतारा गया है। आरोपी को गिरफ्तार किया गया है। उसके खिलाफ फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट में मुकदमा चलाया जाएगा और हम मांग करेंगे कि इस प्रकार के आरोपी को मृत्युदंड की सजा मिले।
All right, here's now my colleague Revati joins me with more details. Revati, it's a horrific case that had come to light from Pune. A 4-year-old girl sexually abused and then killed, allegedly stoned to death, in fact, by the 65-year-old man. Now we're looking at some action as this accused has been sent to 5 days of police custody. Give us more details.
Right, as you rightly mentioned, this is a horrifying incident and also a heart-wrenching incident which has happened in Pune's Bor Taluka in Nasrapur village, where a 65-year-old man, mind you, a 65-year-old man who is also a history sheeter, has sexually assaulted a 4-year-old girl. And this didn't stop here. He also crushed her head with a stone, with a rock, and which led to major injuries. And then she succumbed to her injuries. Her lifeless body was found in the cattle shed in the cattle food when this all incident came to light. And also the CCTV footage of this very incident came to light when the incident was reported to the police. Within 1 hour, the accused was arrested. But the more shocking detail is that this person, the 65-year-old accused, is a history sheeter. Also, before this, a POCSO case was registered against him in 2015. And also in 1998, a sexual harassment case was registered, yet he was roaming free in Bor village. According to the information given by police, he is a daily wager working in the adjacent areas of Bor and in Bor. So as of now, 5 days police custody has been given by the Pune court in this particular matter. So it will be important to see that what actions are taken as in this particular case, sections of POCSO Act are also being registered against him. Over to you.
All right, Revati will continue to track all the legal developments coming to light in this case. And now, viewers, in fact, this is a horrifying case that has come to light from Pune. Just yesterday, this incident took place, and today we are looking at some action. In this case, a 4-year-old girl was sexually abused and then killed, in fact. For now, we're slipping into a very short break, but don't go anywhere. Coming up on the other side, Air India to trim international flight routes as rising fuel costs and airspace closures hit airlines. Getting you all the updates on the other side. Stay tuned to Republic TV.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा से MDH का जलजीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons.
Now, welcome viewers. A mother and a 4-year-old kid perished in a tragic boat accident on Narmada River close to Madhya Pradesh's Bargi Dam. This is when the craft toppled and sank in the choppy seas. When rescuers found their remains the next morning, they saw that the mother was still holding her child tightly in a last-ditch effort to keep him safe. 9 people have died as a result of this tragic accident, while several are still unaccounted for. The mother and the son belonged to a Delhi-based family of 4 visitors. The father and the daughter were able to avoid the catastrophe. As the weather abruptly deteriorated, a man who was able on the boat remembered the horrific incidents. Take a listen.
कि भाई लेडीज को खींचे तो पहली बात तो लेडीज उस पे से आ नहीं रही, हम देखा क्यों नहीं आ रहे, तो देखा तो उसके हाथ में सिमट के एक बच्चा पड़ा था, तो हम उसको खींच रहे लेकिन उसकी पकड़ अपने बच्चे से हिल नहीं रही थी उस लेडीज की।
मदर इन लॉ फादर इन लॉ पे मदर इन लॉ की डेथ हो गई, बेटी मेरे साथ जैकेट पहनी हुई थी, बैग के साइड में आ गए, मेरा बेटा है 4 साल का और वाइफ मिसिंग है।
बीच में जाके पलटी हो गया, फिर उधर सब लाइफ जैकेट में कोई कूद गया था बोट से, कोई बोट के ऊपर पलटी होने के बाद बोट के ऊपर चढ़ा था, फिर इतना हवा आ रहा कि ढेउ में उसको उठा के लेके इधर आ गया, ठीक है। फिर कोई जिंदा है, कोई मर गया।
पूरी उम्मीद है कि वो सब काम पूरा हो जाएगा। शेष जो रहे हैं अंदर वो भी मुझे लगता है कि अभी निकालने में सफल होंगे, और जो भी हादसा हुआ है वो बहुत ही दुखद हादसा है।
आज पहले देखा था, सबसे पहले हम लोग इधर खड़ा था, जो हवा चल रहा था, फिर नाव इधर था, फिर नाव वाला को बोला कि इधर के खड़ा हो जाओ, वो लोग नहीं सुना, फिर वापस जा रहा था, फिर नाव बीच में जाके पलटी हो गया, फिर उधर सब लाइफ जैकेट में कोई कूद गया था बोट से, कोई बोट के ऊपर पलटी होने के बाद बोट के ऊपर चढ़ा था, फिर इतना हवा आ रहा कि ढेउ में उसको उठा के लेके इधर आ गया, ठीक है। फिर कोई जिंदा है, कोई मर गया। हम लोग लगभग 15 या 16 आदमी को निकाला, बचाया जिंदा, और 5-6 आदमी को मर गया, वो भी निकाला। फिर हॉस्पिटल लेके गया, जो जिंदा था उसको हॉस्पिटल लेके गया, और जो लाश है वो लेके गया शायद।
मेरा बेटा और मेरी वाइफ मिसिंग है बस। वेव से वो ग्लास टूटा ना उसका, क्रूज का, वो कांच पूरा आके फेस पे, सर पे, काफी जगह लगाया, पैर हाथों में मेरे। खुद पहनी, हम 3 लोग थे जिन्होंने आपस में जाके नीचे से निकाल कर लाए और सबको बांटा है। इनकी तरफ से स्टाफ कोई नहीं था कि जो जैकेट दे या कोई दे, कुछ नहीं। तूफान बहुत तेज आया था, वेव्स काफी ऊंची होने लग गई,
तो क्रूज को वापस नहीं किया?
क्रूज वापस ही लौटते वक्त हुआ हादसा। वहाँ से जो हादसा वेव शुरू हुआ और कोशिश करते करते वहाँ तक पहुँचा है वो। मेरा बेटा है 4 साल का, मेरी वाइफ मिसिंग है। सब बांध चुके थे, मैंने खुद लाइफ जैकेट लोगों के हाथों में दी, ऐसे पहनो करके, खतरा मुझे लगने लग गया था कि कुछ होगा।
रॉड से वगैरह हमारे बॉडी में लग रहे, तो कई जगह थोड़ा सा स्पेस मिल रहा है, उस जगह हम अंदर जाके फिर सर्च करने की कोशिश करें। कई जगह अभी मेरे साथ बड़ी ड्राइवर है, ये बीच में जाके फंस भी गया था, तो इसको फिर निकालने के लिए मेरे को दिक्कत आ रही। तो स्पेस कम होने के कारण ढूंढने में कठिनाई आ रही। ऐसे खुला स्पेस होता,
मतलब क्या है कि बोट पलटी होगी,
खुला स्पेस होता तो हम आराम से कर सकते हैं या खुले स्पेस में, लेकिन ये कोलैप्स हो चुका है, दोनों तरफ से मिट चुका है, तो उसमें ग्रिल लगी है, तो हम हैमर की वजह से भी थोड़ा बहुत ये कर रहे हैं, और जहाँ पर थोड़ा भी स्पेस मिला उधर अंदर जाके फिर बॉडी को निकालने की कोशिश करें। अंदर तो बहुत मुश्किल है, पूरा विजिबिलिटी कम है, बहुत मुश्किल से आधे फीट से भी बंदा दिख नहीं पा रहा है।
अब तक कितनी डेड बॉडी?
अभी तक तो 5 डेड बॉडी निकाली, उसमें एक बच्चा है और 4
अभी
लास्ट निकाले। हाँ, उसमें तो हम देख के हैरान हो गए अंदर कि भाई लेडीज को खींचे तो पहली बात तो लेडीज उस पे से आ नहीं रही, तो हम देखा क्यों नहीं आ रहे, तो देखा तो उसके हाथ में सिमट के एक बच्चा पड़ा था, तो हम उसको खींच रहे लेकिन उसकी पकड़ अपने बच्चे से हिल नहीं रही थी उस लेडीज की।
बरगी हादसे में अभी तक जो है मेडिकल कॉलेज हॉस्पिटल में 9 बॉडी, जिनमें 8 महिलाएं और 1 बच्चे हैं, जो यहाँ पीएम के लिए हमारे पास आ चुकी हैं। हमने जो है इसके लिए पीएम पंचनामा कार्रवाई के लिए डॉक्टर से भी प्रॉपर कोऑर्डिनेट करके डॉक्टर्स को भी बुला लिया है, और हमारी 2-3 थानों की टीमें यहाँ पीएम पंचनामा कार्रवाई के लिए लगी हुई हैं। जिससे परिजनों को कोई भी समस्या ना हो।
जैसा कि आप सभी देख रहे हैं कि यहाँ की परिस्थितियाँ कितनी कठिन है और चूंकि रात में बारिश का भी वो था, बारिश का मौसम था, काफ़ी बारिश भी हुई, तो रेस्क्यू टीम को काम करने में काफ़ी दिक्कतों का सामना करना पड़ा। अंधेरा भी था, लेकिन हमने आशका लाइट और अन्य जो हमारे उपकरण हैं उनके माध्यम से सर्च अभियान जारी रखा। हमने जो पोकलैंड मशीन और क्रेन के माध्यम से करीब जो 80 फुट पे बोट थी उसको हमने जो है खींच करके करीब 20 फुट पे लाए। उसके बाद आज सुबह जब हमारी NDRF और आर्मी की टीमें आई तो उनके माध्यम से हमने डीप डाइविंग करी, जिसके माध्यम से हमने करीब 5 डेड बॉडी को रिकवर किया है।
All right, viewers, so that's all we could pack in this edition of Live and Breaking. Thank you so much for watching and don't go anywhere. Coming up on the other side, Air India to trim international flight routes as rising fuel costs and airspace closures hit airlines. All the updates are lined up for you on the other side. Stay tuned to Republic.
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
Corrector, the taste of success.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया? आया।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds the target on its own, even if the jet turns away to dodge enemy fire. It also works with helmet-mounted displays, so the pilot can just look at the enemy plane.
Coming up on the other side, Air India to trim international flight routes as rising fuel costs and airspace closures hit airlines. All the updates are lined up for you viewers on the other side. Stay tuned to Republic TV.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds the target on its own, even if the jet turns away to dodge enemy fire. It also works with helmet-mounted displays, so the pilot can just look at the enemy plane through the visor and the missile follows the eyes. This high off-bore sight ability lets the jet attack from strange angles without turning the whole plane first. This upgrade matters a lot because the region stays tense. Pakistan flies JF-17 jets with modern PL-10 missiles that reach farther and lock on quicker. China uses even better systems on its J-20 stealth fighters and other planes. In a real dogfight, the old MiG...
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Republic TV, this is live and breaking with me, Rakta Mishra, and we continue to get you all the latest updates from West Bengal, where repolling is underway and the clashes that have erupted in Falta. Republic TV being the first one to get you that story and leading the coverage. We also get you what's happening in Tamil Nadu ahead of the elections, what's happening in Kerala, what's the fight within the Congress that is breaking out, all that and much more. But first, quick check of the headlines. Protests erupt in Falta as villagers allege TMC not allowing them to vote. Repolling underway across several booths in Bengal. Republic sets the pre-result agenda. Hindu voters allege threats issued by Jahangir Khan's aide. Republic is the only channel to report from ground. Other channels now playing catch-up. Congress factions put out posters across Kerala recommending Chief Minister's post. TVK dismisses rumours regarding alliance with AIADMK ahead of the results. Says that there is no alliance between the AIADMK and TVK. Air India to trim international flight routes as rising fuel costs and airspace closures hit airlines. Pune on a standstill. Protests erupt as 65-year-old rapes and brutally murders a 4-year-old child. Accused sent to 5-day police custody. right, viewers, we start with news coming in from Kerala, where the Congress factions, different Congress factions, have put out posters for their own choice of Chief Minister. Now, posters promoting V.D. Satishan for Kerala CM have surfaced. Heavy lobbying is underway before the poll results. Now, posters recommending leaders for Chief Minister posts have come up despite the clear direction given by the AICC, that is the top command, the high command, against making comments on Chief Ministerial post that land the Congress-led UDF in trouble. Several posters across the state from promoting opposition leader V.D. Satishan as the prospect of CM of Kerala have come up. In some places, Congress workers have put up posters of Ramesh Chennithala for the Chief Minister post. Now, Congress leader K. Sudhakaran shared a Facebook post in which he recommended KC Venugopal for the post. So with this, it has become certain that the UDF is going to be in trouble over the factional feuds if voted to power on Monday. So this is what we are witnessing, viewers, just ahead of counting day. We have Congress factions putting up posters. There are letters being written to the high command from a certain faction. Then you have posters coming up. And then you have social media posts also coming up. All this happening ahead of polls, where exit polls, of course, show the Congress-led UDA ahead in Kerala. But what happens if they win Kerala? Well, it seems that this infighting is going to in fact take over the Congress, even if it comes to power. We've seen such patterns earlier, of course, in Karnataka. And in fact, we are getting in more and more breaking news coming in right now. Senior Congress leader K. Muralidharan says that Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge are going to take the final call on the Chief Minister post. He said this during an interview to Republic TV as we put up the questions, there is a feud, there are clashes, or rather you could say infighting that is being now witnessed. Listen in.
Yeah, in our final assessment, we will get minimum 80 seats. It may go up to 100 seats. Because people want a change of the administration. Because the last 10 years, there are so many unwanted things happened in our state, including the gold robbery in Sabarimala. Law and order is totally failed. And health and education ministries are very much failed. So the people want a change, so they cast their vote in a very huge percent.
Yes, sir. The other worrying part is that when Karnagaran and other veterans like Antony were at the helm of the UDF, the party had a unity. And now there were some talks and differences in opinion for the Chief Minister post from various parts of Kerala.
It will not affect in the state of Kerala because High Command will the final authority. High Command will take a decision with the consultation of our coalition partners also, because this is not a single party government, this is a coalition government. So that reason they may consult with the coalition partners also. Then they announce one name, he will be the Chief Minister.
Shifting focus to West Bengal, where exit polls for the assembly elections released on Wednesday have pointed at a sharply divided verdict, projections suggesting a tight, high-voltage contest between the two rivals, the BJP and the TMC. Now, poll of polls indicate the marginal edge to the BJP, but what's really the number game here, and what are the factors in the run-up to the counting day that we're looking at? It's a report.
Exit polls for the 2026 West Bengal Assembly elections on Wednesday pointed to a sharply divided verdict, with most projections giving BJP an edge. A neck-and-neck fight between the two main contenders are being projected. 145 seats each for the BJP and the TMC in the 294-member assembly, with others expected to win around 4 seats. The 2026 contest has been shaped by a high-voltage fight between the Trinamool Congress led by Banerjee and the BJP.
150 to 175 seats in what is a 90 to 95 seat gain for the BJP. The BJP, according to PMARC, is absolutely sweeping Bengal. And that explains what's been going on. Ladies and gentlemen, the BJP with a 44% vote share. 44% vote share is getting a 6 to 7% swing for it, right? And the Trinamool Congress is getting only between 118 to 138 seats. If these numbers are right, Matrice is predicting that the BJP is getting about 162 seats out of 294, safely past the halfway mark of 148. And the BJP is winning Bengal.
Campaign themes revolved around women voters, Bengali Asmita, the Matua vote, and large-scale voter deletions during special intensive revision of the Election Commission. The BJP is on course to double its tally, crossing the 150 mark. The TMC could be staring at a vote share drop of nearly 8%. Anti-incumbency and the SIR controversy, major blows to Mamta's fortress. A visible Hindu consolidation and higher turnout reshaping Bengal's electoral map. The BJP may just cross the majority mark. A narrow but crucial 2 to 4% vote share lead could tilt the scales. The TMC falling short by 15 to 20 seats. In a contest this tight, margins will decide the winner. And if trends hold, the ruling TMC could lose over 1/3 of its seats. Bengal stands at a crossroads. Is this the fall of a stronghold or the ultimate comeback story?
All right, we also have breaking news coming in now from Tamil Nadu. TVK leader Arnab has clarified that there are no alliance talks happening with AIADMK. In fact, he goes on to say that no AIADMK or the left parties are approaching the TVK for the alliance. So this is Vijay's deputy speaking, viewers, and he says he's ruled out any talks. That's what he's saying now. And no talks, no alliance talks with the AIADMK. So we've seen that there has been, what we've seen amongst the TVK leaders, they've exuded confidence and they have refused that, time and again they've refused that there would be any alliance. Just listen in, viewers, to this conversation.
With the election counting nearing in Tamil Nadu, we are joined by the DMK spokesperson, Elangovan. Sir, how confident are you regarding the DMK victory here, with the exit polls showing a bit of hindrance for DMK's victory here?
No, out of the about 7-8 exit polls, 5 exit polls have favored only DMK. Only 2 or 3, only one exit poll has predicted Vijay will come. 2 had predicted that ADMK will come. But rest of the remaining exit polls have only predicted that DMK is going to sweep. They will get at least 160 seats. That is the prediction they have got. So we are confident. We have performed for the last 5 years. Every section, every household in Tamil Nadu is benefited by the schemes of the DMK government. So we are confident that people will support us.
Coming to the left party, Communist Party, which is saying that they are not satisfied with the way DMK is conducting with the left parties, and they're saying they're not given the due what they need to be given. Even with the seat share also there was a little problem. So how do you look at this? This statement coming after the exit polls.
See, the problem here is that we have to face our enemies in a way that will put us on top. So the communist parties are with us for quite some time. Even since 1967 they were with us. So they cannot be our enemies, they are our friends. In between there may be small issues, but it is all settled. They are with us now. But since we are facing elections, we have to follow a strategy which will defeat the oppositions. So in that matter, they think that they are left out and some other parties are given importance. It's not like that. We are communists and communist parties are with us. DMK, our leader will say that if I have not seen my founder leader Anna, I would have been a communist. So that much of communist policies that the DMK is attached to, and we are following it.
Another alliance, VCK, Tirumavalan, was also saying that though he's confident that DMK would win, but there are some reservations that he also stated while saying that maybe Vijay can come or something like that. So how do you look at this?
No, we are confident because we were the incumbent government and we have performed well, and all sections of the people are happy with our performance. They will vote for us.
That is DMK spokesperson, where he's saying that though there are exit polls that might favor Vijay or other party as well, but they are confident that their efforts for the last 5 years will be fruitful for this term election as well.
And Shada joined us live in the broadcast. From Shada, what's really going on behind the scenes? Is it really the fact that there have been no attempts at forging a post-poll alliance as far as the TVK and AIDMK is concerned? And what is it really that the TVK is so confident that they do not want to seek any alliance?
Well, it's not just the TVK, Rakshita, it's all the three parties, TVK, DMK and the AIDMK, who is very confident that they will win majority number of seats to form the government. The majority number of seats that's required is 118, and every party is confident that they'll win at least 140 seats out of the 234 this time in the elections. So, as of now, no parties have come forward to speak about the post-poll alliance. Well, there were news and rumors that the AIDMK and the TVK will join hands. TVK leaders have abruptly stated that there is no plans of an alliance with the AIDMK. Directly quoted the BJP, the ideological enemy who's part of the AIDMK ally, and that they would not go hand in hand with the AIDMK. So even now there is no talks for the post-poll alliance. However, there is a situation that will come up when DMK, if in case does not get a single-hand majority, that they have to rely on the alliance parties, then the question rises with the post-poll alliance whether the left ally parties who have started to complain about the DMK might go behind and go join with the TVK or the AIDMK, which in turn might give the majority number of seats. So this time, the elections in Tamil Nadu is not a clean sweep for any of the three parties, but a question in place if the ally parties gets to decide. And it's the very first time in the history of Tamil Nadu politics that we are seeing the alliance parties getting so much power to decide who will get to be in power.
All right, Shada, many thanks for joining us with the details on that story. Viewers, we continue to get you more updates, but right now we will be shifting our focus to the TCS case, the grooming gang case. Now, Nida Khan, one of the key accused, is on the run. Her anticipatory bail application has been dismissed. Additional Sessions Judge rejected Nida Khan's anticipatory bail application, so she remains on the run. And her lawyer has been filing the anticipatory bail petition, which has now been dismissed by the court. So she is still at large. She refuses to in fact come out and come before the appear before the court. Nasik court verdict. Of course, what we understand is that this anticipatory bail plea has been dismissed. And this is what we are breaking right now. Nida Khan is the key accused in this case. In fact, Nasik police had just 4 days back informed the court that she has links to Malaysia, and there is a requirement for custodial probe, and she has remained at large. And now, after the anticipatory bail plea is dismissed, it's only trouble that is mounting for her. And there is no escape for Nida Khan. She is one of the key accused, and it's a key figure in the ongoing probe in the TCS case, Nasik grooming gang case, and the investigation amid serious allegations. And in fact, there are many claims have been also made again that have been made. Links to the Delhi Red Fort blast accused also have emerged. Now her links to the Malaysian preacher have also emerged, and she is to be examined in connection with this probe. And my colleague Revati, closely tracking this case, is joining us on the broadcast. Well, there's no escape clearly, but is there any information on the whereabouts of Nida Khan, who continues to be on the run, Revati? I think we've lost the connection with Revati. Well, we'll just try and get more details on that. But this is, viewers, a very, very serious case that has, in fact, that has grabbed the national attention. And court has refused interim protection. Also, in the latest, they've rejected the anticipatory bail plea as well. So this is, viewers, a major, major development, and trouble mounts for Nida Khan. There's no escape for Nida Khan. The order was reserved on the 2nd of May. Court had heard arguments on custodial interrogation, and viewers, the police had submitted the crucial aspects of the investigation remaining incomplete, and that they require Nida Khan's custody. In fact, the prosecution had told the court earlier that Nida Khan's financial links need to be probed. Certain links with Malaysia and Malegaon were also found. Her phone needs to be sent for forensic investigation. And according to the police, the case involves allegations that the victim's identity was altered, with her name allegedly changed to Hania and the religious content, including reels. We will give you more details on that, viewers. But on the other hand, we have another story that has made the headlines, viewers. A very unfortunate incident. A mother and a 4-year-old kid perished in this sad boat accident, the tragedy in Narmada River that's close to Madhya Pradesh's Bargi Dam, when the craft had in fact toppled and sank in the choppy seas. When rescuers found their remains the next morning, they saw that the mother was holding her child tightly in a last-ditch effort to keep him safe. 9 people have died as a result of this tragedy, and several others could be unaccounted for. The mother and the son belong to the Delhi-based family of 4 visitors. The father and daughter were able to avoid, thankfully, this tragedy. They could be saved. As the weather abruptly deteriorated, a man who was also on the boat remembered the horrific incidents, viewers. This is a heart-wrenching story. Is more on that.
भाई लेडीज़ को खींचे तो पहली बात तो लेडीज़ उस पे से आ नहीं रही, हम देखा क्यों नहीं आ रहे, तो देखा तो उसके हाथ में सिमट के एक बच्चा पड़ा था, तो हम उसको खींच रहे, लेकिन उसकी पकड़ अपने बच्चे से हिल नहीं रही थी उस लेडीज़ की।
मदर इन लॉ फादर इन लॉ पे मदर इन लॉ की डेथ हो गई। बेटी मेरे साथ जैकेट पहनी हुई थी, बहन के साइड में आ गए। मेरा बेटा है 4 साल का, वाइफ मिसिंग है। बीच में जाकर पलटी हो गया, फिर उधर सब लाइफ जैकेट में कोई कूद गया था बोट से, कोई बोट के ऊपर पलटी होने के बाद बोट के ऊपर चढ़ा था, तो इतना हवा आ रहा कि ढेउ में उसको उठा के लेके इधर आ गया। ठीक है, फिर कोई जिंदा है, कोई मर गया।
पूरी उम्मीद है कि वो सब काम पूरा हो जाएगा। शेष जो रहे हैं अंदर, वो भी मुझे लगता है कि अभी निकालने में सफल होंगे, और जो भी हादसा हुआ है वो बहुत ही दुखद हादसा है।
आज पहले देखा था, सबसे पहले हम लोग इधर खड़ा था, जो हवा चल रहा था, फिर नाव इधर था, फिर नाव वाला को बोला कि इधर के खड़ा हो जाओ, वो लोग नहीं सुना, फिर वापस जा रहा था, फिर नाव बीच में जाकर पलटी हो गया, फिर उधर सब लाइफ जैकेट में कोई कूद गया था बोट से, कोई बोट के ऊपर पलटी होने के बाद बोट के ऊपर चढ़ा था, तो इतना हवा आ रहा कि ढेउ में उसको उठा के लेके इधर आ गया। ठीक है, फिर कोई जिंदा है, कोई मर गया। हम लोग लगभग 15 या 16 आदमी को निकाला, बचाया जिंदा, और 5-6 आदमी को मर गया, वो भी निकाला। फिर हॉस्पिटल लेके गया, जो जिंदा था उसको हॉस्पिटल लेके गया, और जो लाश है वो लेके गया शायद। मेरा बेटा और मेरी वाइफ मिसिंग है। वेव से वो ग्लास टूटा ना उसका, क्रूज का, वो कांच पूरा आके फेस पे, सर पे, काफी जगह लगा है, पैर हाथों में मेरे। खुद पहनी, हम 3 लोग थे जिन्होंने आपस में जाके नीचे से निकाल कर लाए और सबको बांटा है। इनकी तरफ से स्टाफ कोई नहीं था कि जो जैकेट दे या कोई दे, कुछ नहीं। तूफान बहुत तेज आया था, वेव्स काफी ऊंची होने लग गई,
तो क्रूज को वापस नहीं किया?
क्रूज वापस ही लौटते वक्त हुआ हादसा। वहाँ से जो हादसा वेव शुरू हुआ और कोशिश करते करते वहाँ तक पहुँचा है। वो मेरा बेटा है 4 साल का, मेरी वाइफ मिसिंग है। सब बांध चुके थे, मैंने खुद लाइफ जैकेट लोगों के हाथों में दी, ऐसे पहनो करके, खतरा मुझे लगने लग गया था कि कुछ होगा।
रॉड
Join International Institute of Hotel Management. Call 983-10-50,000.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा मसाला
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और बरसात, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks...
Just a few lines about Mr. Palit. Mr. Palit is a leading expert in energy policy and sustainable development with over 2 decades of experience in the sector. He currently serves as the head of the Chintan Research Foundation, where he leads research on energy access, clean energy transition, and infrastructure policy. He has previously worked with the Energy and Resources Institute, contributing to national and international projects on rural electrification, renewable energy, and inclusive energy systems. His work has focused on bridging policy and implementation, particularly in developing sustainable and scalable energy solutions for India and other emerging economies. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Debajit Palit on stage. He will be accompanied or interviewed by Rakshita Mishra, my colleague. Rakshita and Mr. Palit, please be on stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pranav, and thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for gathering here once again. And now, before we start and we go into the different nuances of sustainability when it comes to infrastructure, I just want to, I want a very quick answer in the very beginning from Mr. Palit about what do we really mean when we say sustainability in infrastructure?
Well, thank you, Rakshita. So the way we define sustainability in the pure academic sense, or the first time this word was coined by Brundtland Commission long back. So it means that we have to use the resources the present time without compromising the ability to use the resources in the future. So basically, in simple terms, that we should use our resources that is available in the earth, whatever resources we're getting, whether it is water, whether it is natural resources and whatever, in a way that our future generations, like those who are sitting here, they should not feel the pinch of it. There should be enough of it for them also to use it. So we have to be used in a regulated fashion, the way I said it. Now, there are three aspects of it, primarily in terms of the business. So we call it that we have to be mindful of, or we have to see that the planet, the people, and the profit, each should be in a sync with each other. I would like to add another term, and that's the classical definition. I think in Indian context, it is also important, and primarily in the infrastructure sector, it is the 4P. The fourth P is the parivar. And I will say why after some time. That also becomes very important. So yeah, and we also define it from the point of environmental sustainability, economic sustainability, and social sustainability. I'm not going into details with all this definition, but in a nutshell, whatever we use, we should use in such a way that our future generations should not feel the pinch. They should also be able to use the same resources.
So over the years, when there has been focus on development and infrastructure in different tier cities, but now, how have you seen sustainability evolving when it comes to urban development in India?
Okay, so there are some, let me quote some numbers. As somebody from the academic and research sector, numbers are very close to our heart. Building sector, infrastructure, primarily building sector, contribute around 1/4 of the total carbon emissions in India. Power sector definitely is the largest one, but building sector is 1/4 is not a small thing. The building stock that is going to come up in the next, say by 2070, is almost like 80% new buildings will come up than what we have now. That shows the importance of the infrastructure and why we should practice sustainability in the infrastructure sector. Because whatever infrastructure we have created now is nothing in comparison to what we are going to create in the next 50 years. And with growing urbanization, we have around 35% urbanization. Now it's going to increase to about 50% or more than 50% by 2050, when India is aiming to achieve Viksit Bharat. So in that context, sustainability becomes very important. Now, how do you ensure sustainability in the infrastructure sector? So, using materials which are low carbon. For example, whatever carbon emission is happening, the 25% that I just mentioned, out of that almost 80 to 90% is contributed by steel and cement. So if you can manufacture steel and cement in a greener way, then that directly contributes to the sustainability. Bricks, if we in bricks, if we use hollow bricks, or there are now models by which you can insulate your walls in hot tropical climate by putting bricks and insulator in between the bricks while constructing your wall. So that helps in reducing your AC load. Now, why it is important to reduce your AC load or the heating load? India is a tropical country. Last week of April, we had around 260 gigawatt of demand. And every year, the heating temperature, the temperature is increasing. So we had around 42 degrees Celsius in Delhi in April, which normally is the temperature by end of May. Now, the way the heating is happening, unless we start constructing buildings in a more sustainable way, taking all these things into account, we don't know how we are going to meet the heating, the cooling load in the future.
So what really are the challenges that you would say as far as keeping up with sustainability is concerned, and when we link it to rapid urbanization as we are witnessing around us?
I think the most important challenge is that we have to acknowledge that infrastructure sector also needs sustainability aspects. We might think that because cost is a very important parameter. So what we are looking at is the initial capital cost. So if we introduce all the sustainability features, maybe the cost might increase by 10 to 15%. We have to, as somebody who will buy a house, I have to be ready to pay for it, the additional amount. But I also have to be ensured that, or rather the infrastructure developer, they have to ensure that they have to convince me, because over a period of time, this cost is, if I take the life cycle cost, then it is not costly. Because I save a lot in say, not having high, using sustainable materials, my room temperature will be lower. So I don't need a heating, the cooling load, an extra cooling load. So my electricity bill will be reduced. Or for that matter, if in building complexes, say, you have the parking space. Now, instead of the parking space in the ground floor, or you can have a basement parking, and the ground floor can be utilized for greenery. Say, putting up grasses and other things. So your microclimate within the building, the temperature will not rise, because the grasses will absorb the heat, and it will not reflect the heat. So overall, it is going to help you in the long term. So these are things which we have to understand, and we have to take cognizance of these things while designing any buildings or designing any infrastructure. Let me give a classic example of the AI infrastructure. We are going ahead large scale in AI and data center. But the data center, they have to be cooled. So the microclimate within the data center, the temperature is always 2 to 3 degrees more, and we have now cases from Pune and Mumbai where this thing is very clearly coming out. Now, instead of constructing a data center, for example, I stay in Noida. It's almost during summertime, temperature rises to around 47 degrees Celsius. With a data center in Noida, the temperature might increase. The microclimate within that might increase to more than 50 degrees Celsius. So instead of Noida, can I have a data center in some places near to, say, maybe in the hills, right? So already the microclimate is cool, so you don't have to use more cooling load for the data center. So these are things which I think needs to be incorporated into the policies, and also as somebody who is investing in data center should also take all these things into account.
Are the policies you feel supportive, or there's lots that can be done?
Well, a lot can be done. The policies are just coming up. The government of India has just announced the tax incentives for data centers. So I think instead of giving tax incentives to everybody, maybe some aspects of sustainability can be included, and government can nudge that, okay, your incentives might be more if you follow the sustainability practices. Investment is very important. Growth is very important for a country like India, but at the same time, sustainability should also be given the due importance.
But growth should be balanced. The infrastructure growth should also be balanced. If we talk about the circular economy, if you see, how do you think that can play a role, in sustainability when it comes to infrastructures?
I think circular economy is a must for any new infrastructure that is being created. You need a lot of water. So how can you recycle the water within the complex itself? So the gray water that you are generating could be used for maybe for gardening, maybe for other flushing and other purposes. So how do you inbuild those things into the system? You generate a lot of waste materials. Can you produce enough, say you can produce gas, compressed biogas or something like that, which can be used for some other purposes, and you try to become self-sufficient. That means if a building try to become self-sufficient, at least to some extent, instead of getting energy from outside. So I think these are things which should be inbuilt into the construction phase. Let me give an example here. So I am just reading newspaper this morning only in case of Gurgaon. So the Gurgaon, one of the apartment owners, or rather the complexes, the fire safety certificate has not been provided. Why? Because they have put up charging infrastructure, electric vehicle charging infrastructure in the basement. Maybe it is a problem, but not giving a fire safety will not solve the problem, because otherwise where they will put up a EV charging. So we also need electric vehicle, right? Now somewhere you have to charge it. Now where do we charge it? Then if you're not allowing the basement, so at least you can have better standards available now, which allows in the basement the charging infrastructure. So I think it is important that different ministries have to sit together, or departments have to sit together, work towards finding a solution where we can have such aspects inbuilt into the system.
Right, sir. But can you give examples of, sustainability when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to real estate in cities like Mumbai or even Delhi? Some of the projects that you can highlight that actually show that sustainability is being taken care of in such projects.
Absolutely. So nowadays, there are some rating systems available which provides rating for buildings which follow sustainability principles. For example, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, they have a rating systems by the name of Griha, where you can get a building Griha rated 5-star or 4-star depending on how much sustainability things you have incorporated into the building. There are other rating systems like the IGBC, International Green Building Rating Code. Then there are ECBC guidelines, Energy Conservation Building Code. So buildings should apply for those rating. And once, so there are also benefits to the builder. They get a higher FAR. For if they get their building rated 5-star or something like that. For different star, the FAR is different. So they also benefit out of that process. So those are the things that can be used. One new thing which is coming up in India is the district cooling system. So we are a hot country. We use air conditioner. Every individual houses is an air conditioner, whether or in institutions you have air conditioner. Instead of that, we can now go for district cooling system. The way European countries have district heating system, we can have district cooling system, which is 30% more efficient than using individual air conditioner. So Gift City in Gujarat, in Gandhinagar, so they are using an International School of Business, if I know correctly, in Hyderabad, they are also using this district cooling system. The only criteria, or rather I would say where it will be feasible, where you have load both during the daytime and during the night time. So maybe in offices it may not be suitable initially because you don't have a nighttime load, but wherever you have a residential commercial complexes within the same complex, then you have both daytime and nighttime load, then district cooling systems are an excellent way to produce the cooling effect, instead of going ahead with split AC and other things, because it's 30% more efficient. The more efficiency is more, so carbon emission is less, your energy consumption is less, and ultimately your expenses on the energy for cooling energy is also less.
But when it comes to these projects, is the investment on the higher side for someone to understand, what really does it take for the person who's planning this project? It's very important, I think, to have this in mind while you're planning early on. Like we have projects like Dharavi, we have projects like Motilal Nagar also. We've seen in their context also that sustainability being part of early planning stage becomes very, very crucial.
Absolutely. So yes, costing is a very important parameter, and and in India it is a very cost-sensitive market. So definitely costing is a very important. I think what different studies show that maybe the cost will increase, the initial cost will increase by 10 to 15%, probably maybe a little more. But I think we can have a different financial mechanism, incentive mechanism, which can address the higher cost initially, and over a period of time you can recover the cost. That's more important. So if you have, say, if you can create instruments in financing instruments where you are incorporating sustainability features, and because of that, if you get some basis point lower cost of capital, I think that can help. And definitely, as I said, FAR is given, the municipalities give higher FAR for Griha rated or ECBC rated buildings with a little lower cost of capital. I think the cost can easily be managed.
And what about big infrastructure projects like we have the Navi Mumbai International Airport? It's already functioning, but it's a landmark project. But when it comes to rapid infrastructure expansion, and when you have such major projects in cities like Mumbai, is it that easy when it comes to keeping up with sustainability and development?
I think many of the airports in India now are being constructed with sustainability features inbuilt. I don't know, a lot of you may be knowing, Kochi International Airport, they are using solar energy for meeting all their energy needs. Let me give another example. In many of the airports, I think in probably in Navi Mumbai also, they're incorporating it. You have small wind turbines which are being put up near to the runway. So that when the flight lands or takes off, because of the pressure it creates, you can produce energy, electricity using those wind turbines, and the entire runway lighting can be used. You can use that electricity for the entire runway lighting. So there are ways and means, and many of these airports are incorporating those things, these aspects, because at the end of the day, you might invest, and in fact, it is much easier for a big business house or a big infrastructure projects to incorporate sustainability, because they can invest that money and they can easily recover because of lower operational cost. So over a period of time, say 5 to 10 years, they can easily recover the cost, and then it gives you more profit because your operational cost is extremely low as compared to not using sustainability features.
So you mean that it pays in the long run? Right. All right. And when you talk about cities, like you mentioned about Gandhinagar, I think, if you talk about Gift City, yes. If you talk about making sustainable, building sustainable cities, there is also a very important factor as far as waste management is concerned. So what is the outlook there? What are the important aspects of that?
Well, waste management, as I said, that means whatever waste is generated in the complex, whichever, whether it is a housing complex or an institutional complex, I think it is important that how do you treat that waste within the complex itself. So no waste should go out of the building. That should be the motto. There are ways and means to make what we call wealth out of the waste. That should be done inside the complex. And for example, if there are any organic waste, one, you can produce gas. I just gave an example. You can produce biogas out of that. That gas can be used for, say, either cooking. Maybe the security guards can cook their food there, sufficient for that. Or you can produce fertilizer, organic fertilizer. You can sell that organic fertilizer. The Resident Welfare Association can have another source of income by selling that organic fertilizer. With the government of India giving a lot of importance to organic Bharat now, I think that fertilizer can get easily sold. And in fact, why to sold to outside? In fact, those who are occupying the flat, the residents of that society, they also do gardening. They themselves will buy all those fertilizers that you are going to produce within the society. So I don't think there is any problem will be on marketing the products. It is only that we have to understand that yes, we can do it and start doing it.
So to understand, we need research also for that. You think there are enough, streams, there's enough of push as far as research on part of sustainability is concerned in India right now? We need to do much more on that side as well.
Yeah, that's a research is always an evolving process. We are doing a lot of technologies. That means we have done a lot of research to produce a number of technologies. Those technologies can be used, and it's not that it will get stopped at some place, because as we move forward, new things are coming up. New research will continue to happen, and we can use more and more sustainable products. I have seen products from I was in Brazil for the COP, the Conference of Parties last year. And the Brazilian guys in their pavilion, I have seen products that what they have done is that they're using the shell of the egg to produce certain things, right? They're processing it and producing certain things out of that egg shell. So, right, so that could be many things. So there is a city in Japan called Kitakyushu, if I remember the name correctly or pronounce the name correctly. That city was considered to be the dirtiest city in the world in the 60s because of pollution, and a lot of the steel plants are there, and it was very bad. But in 2000 or around that, in that decade, I think the city was given the tag of by UNEP, the cleanest city in the world. And everything that is produced, I happened to visit that city, and I have seen that everything that they produce is recycled back for use. Nothing is wasted there, and it's a mandate to do that, and you have to do it, right? And from a dirtiest city in the world to becoming cleanest city in the world is not a mean joke. So I always feel that. I'm in Delhi NCR, so we have the pollution problem is a very big thing. So definitely we'll also become clean someday. If Kitakyushu can become clean, we can also become clean.
That's very optimistic of you. But talking about optimism, which city in India or any area you've come across which you feel is really moving seriously towards sustainability?
Well, that's a difficult question. I think at the city level, I'm not sure about it, but definitely there are a lot of examples, as I just gave an example about the gift city. I've seen a lot of changes happening in many of the cities in the last decade or so, maybe 5 to 10 years. In many of the cities in UP, for example, Varanasi and others, they've changed a lot, right? So many sustainability things are being taken into account. Cities in Gujarat are changing. So a lot of nowadays, I think the good side of it is that many builders are constructing buildings, and they are putting a tag on sustainability and selling it as a what I should say as something different, right? And people are also buying it. So at least that awareness level is there that we should go for a building complex where some of the sustainability features are there, and look like that we are also practicing sustainability. I think that's a good sign as far as India is concerned. Maybe 10 years back this was not there, but in the last 4 or 5 years, I think it is picking up, and I'm sure that we'll soon see cities in India where projects would be sold purely on the basis of sustainability aspects.
Authentically sustainable.
Authentically sustainable, absolutely.
Yes. And that is, of course, important. But when we talk about Viksit Bharat, we talk about the goals of 2047. And we've seen our leaders speaking about the importance of sustainability. And when it comes to, goals, again, I would like to ask you that how much time, in optimism and pessimism, in whichever way you would like to answer this, how much time do you feel that for India to actually have a serious, sustainable development model in terms of, infrastructure is concerned will be possible? The timeline that you're looking at.
Well, as far as timeline, I think we should start immediately if we are not doing, but I feel that we have already started. And the Niti Aayog recently released their report for net zero by 2070, and where and of course 2047 Viksit Bharat, where it is very clear that they have also taken into account the sustainability aspects for India to how India will proceed towards net zero. So I think the process has already started with the government completely on board. We recently released, the Government of India recently announced its updated NDC, which also talks about reducing carbon emission from I think 3.5 billion tons of carbon emission by 2035, additional, that is the additional amount. 60% of our infrastructure, the energy infrastructure should be from non-fossil, and 47% emission intensity of GDP, which means that whatever emission you are producing because of your increasing GDP, that will get reduced by 47%, something like that. So all these things do point to the fact that we are already onto it, and it is only a matter of time that we we speeden it up and reach our goal as quickly as possible.
When we talk about infrastructure, we broadly today, as it's the real estate and infrastructure summit, but it also includes transportation. It also includes, we have the transport infrastructure. So from railways to metro, lines in our metro cities and so on and so forth. Do you see that a lot of investment has gone in on the front of sustainability as well there?
Absolutely. So the way I look at it is that so any technology, if we use electricity for running anything, whether it is train or metro or electric car, it is more efficient than burning fossil fuel, basically diesel or petrol or CNG or other things. So what we are doing in India is that we are now increasingly focusing on electrification. So Indian Railways is almost like 99% track has been electrified. That itself is saving a huge amount of diesel. That's one example of sustainability. If we use metro, most of the cities now have metro, and more cities are being covered under metro. So your fuel efficiency will increase. You will carry a number of passengers. This one also, the per capita energy consumption for transport will come down. So these are some of the measures which are being taken. What we have to see is that we have to make a policy coherence on what type of transport we should use in the cities. So electric vehicles probably is a more efficient way of for cities, but we cannot use electric vehicles for long distance freight, long distance truck, right? So there probably we have to move from diesel to LNG. And gradually to green hydrogen. So these are a little bit of policy coherence is necessary, where to decide which sector, what type of technology is best suited for which sector, and accordingly should be incentivized. So that's an area where some work needs to be done so that we follow a better path than what we are following now.
Right, sir. So this is, of course, very important as we look towards the goals of sustainability, not just in terms of the tags that we've been, sold many times, but yes, in terms of infrastructure, of course, that is very, very important. And with that, I think we can wrap this conversation. It was really insightful, sir, for giving us examples and making, breaking it down for us, because we talk about these terms so much, but it's important to understand, when it comes to the application and the implementation. Thank you so much, Dr. Debajit Palit. Thanks so much.
Join International Institute of Hotel Management. Call 983-10-50,000.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा जीरा सिप
जीरा सिप असली रिफ्रेशिंग असली स्वाद असली मजा
MDH
रानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars and
Join International Institute of Hotel Management. Call 983-10-50,000.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये ही तो है इसकी खास बात वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है अरे मेरे राजा
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and welcome. You're watching our special broadcast. We are just hours away from the counting. In fact, as a mega broadcast continues, we're going to take you through all that has basically happened in the last few days, particularly with the exit polls, which has become the biggest talking point, keeping in mind that there are certain changes and, more importantly, some twists, surprises that have essentially taken place. Over the next 1 hour, our endeavor in fact, would essentially be to take you through not just the poll numbers, but also what are the decisive factors and what could really change. Joining me in the studio is my colleague, Ishita. In fact, Ishita, that's what we are essentially going to do over the next 1 hour. The numbers, decode the numbers, and what does it essentially mean, and whether at all these numbers are going to really hold and the fortunes are going to change for some. That's the big question.
Right, of course, EVMs have been sealed and the counting has not begun. So all eyes are now on the exit polls, and the number crunching is what we're going to do right after we take you to the top headlines at this hour. Face-off continues in Falta, Diamond Harbour. Serious allegations against TMC leaders and police. Hindu voters being blocked from casting their vote. Protest continues on the ground.
Republic sets the pre-result agenda. Hindu voters allege threats issued by Jahangir Khan's aide. Republic only channel to report from ground. Other channels now playing catch-up.
Election Commission deploys 165 additional counting observers and 77 police observers in West Bengal ahead of the high-stakes counting day.
Congress factions put out posters across Kerala recommending for Chief Minister's post.
TVK dismisses rumours regarding alliance with AIA. DMK ahead of results says that there are no alliance talks happening with the AIA DMK. All right, Shravan, let's begin with the flashpoint in the West Bengal election. That's Falta. Today we have been covering the constituency since morning, and now protests are erupted. Hindu voters, in fact, have come out demanding a repolling be taken place in the area. Remember, the decision on Falta is still awaited, while 15 polling stations were, in fact, went to repolls across West Bengal today. But what we witnessed in Falta today was Hindu voters defying the fear that has been induced by TMC goons, by TMC troublemakers. They came out, they demanded, and they spoke against the atrocities, the threats they have been receiving.
Well, in fact, for all our viewers outside the state of West Bengal, why exactly is there so much of focus in this place called Falta? Not very far away from Kolkata. In fact, this is essentially seen as a stronghold of Mamata Banerjee's nephew, Abhishek Banerjee. In fact, it turns out that in Falta, on the day when the polling was taking place, the first big controversy erupted, that of sellotaping, what the BJP called sellotaping democracy. In fact, it was basically taped, the EVM machine, blanking out the BJP button. That became the biggest controversy, leading to multiple complaints being filed by the Bharatiya Janata Party, following which the Election Commission has basically recommended a repolling in those very areas. This morning, the repolling essentially began. But no surprise, yet again there were allegations that were basically leveled by Hindu voters, saying that they were being prevented from cast their vote. Now, not just that, there was the other big allegation that basically came in of the high-handedness of a man called Jahangir Khan. Again, a close aide of Abhishek Banerjee. On your screens right now, these are the turnout numbers that have now come in. 87% turnout in Diamond Harbour. That is still about 5 o'clock this evening. In fact, we'll try and see if we can go across to Harsha, who's going to join us in a short while from now. Ishita, just a quick word from you with regards to what are the allegations that have been leveled, number one? Number two, in terms of deployment that has taken place of the CAPF, which has also been another bone of contention.
Right, of course. Now we see 2.4 lakh CAPF personnel have been deployed all across the state of West Bengal to ensure that the voting takes place in a free and fair manner and, happens smoothly. But despite such high security deployment, we saw that Hindu voters today came out and made allegations that it was a TMC goons, a TMC troublemakers that prevented them from exercising their franchise. Now, they were given threats. Their children were in fact threatened to be set on fire. Women voters have received multiple rape threats as well, also showing that how TMC will essentially go to any extreme in order to ensure that Hindu voters do not exercise their franchise in a very high-stakes election. Now, these are the allegations that had come out not just regarding the threats, but also with the way TMC had been trying to jeopardize the entire election process. Now, there were several tactics employed by TMC, including the taping of BJP button, as you said, and as well as there were perfume that was put on the BJP button.
Well, in fact, let's get a ground report right now. In fact, my colleague Harsha has been crisscrossing that constituency to get us a sense of what was really happening on the ground. Harsha, you spoke to several eligible voters. They were complaining about the fact that they were not being allowed to vote. Has the Election Commission taken cognizance of it? And what's the situation like on the ground?
So, Shravan, right now I'm in Falta Assembly constituency only. Let me show you the visuals because it started raining heavily. Therefore, because the Hindu voters who had gathered here earlier, now some of them seems like that they have dispersed, but the security arrangements are still intact. Huge number of para forces are still deployed here. But you asked me a question regarding the Falta repolling. Shravan, till now there has been no decision regarding the Falta repolling. No decision has been taken by the Election Commission yet because there were 37 booths. It was stated by Election Commission that the repolling has to happen on 37 booths because there were allegations of the EVM tampering, and also a special observer came all the way to Falta to see that how the tampering of the EVM happened. Webcast was not working, CCTV was not working. So yes, repolling has to happen, but till now the order for the Falta repolling has yet not come. So we are all waiting that like Diamond Harbour and the Margat Paschim went for repoll today, like that Falta will go for repoll tomorrow, or a decision will be taken, when it will be taken, whether this time the voting will happen, repoll will happen, or it will happen after counting. It's still awaited. The order is still awaited. We have no information from Election Commission of India regarding Falta, but yes, the Hindu voters here who are continuously agitating, protesting, they are very upset, they are very angry, Shravan. These all are those voters who are still here, and they all still are stating that they want the repoll to happen in Falta Assembly constituency because they were blocked, they were barred from voting on the day of 29th of April. Also, they are continuously being harassed, threatened and also intimidated by the men of Jahangir Khan, who is close aide of Abhishek Banerjee. And also the Hindu voters have stated that more than 50 to 100 people could not vote on 29th of April on the day of the polling because the men of Jahangir Khan came and they were intimidating them. Also today morning there was a lathi charge which took place by the police officials, police personnel of the Falta police station. So therefore they are very agitated and they are demanding justice. They want that repoll should happen in Falta, and all Hindu voters, they want to vote, which they couldn't vote on the day of the polling as presiding officer, and the local DOs were not listening when these Hindu voters were barred from entering the polling station. As you see, Shravan, this is right now the ground situation here. More and more locals gather here. This is the Falta Assembly constituency. We see the slogans Jai Shri Ram being hurled here, and also the locals have clearly stated they will have no conversation, no dialogue with the police personnel, with the police officials or the Falta police station, because they are the ones who are not registering any complaint against Jahangir Khan men, those who are continuously coming to this village and harassing and intimidating, threatening the voters here. In fact, they are stating that the women were lathi charged this morning by the police personnel only. And you see, as women also sitting right now here, the major issue, Shravan, here is that CAPF had already warned all these locals that they should not go to the national highway from where we started reporting, Shravan. That's a national highway which was blocked yesterday and this morning as well. And therefore, all the Hindu voters, they are staging protests here. Let's go there. I'll show you the layer of security, the para forces which has been deployed at the entrance of this Hindu para, at the entrance of this particular village. And it is being stated, it is being told to them that their demands will be heard, but they should not protest on National Highway, which is the road which connects Diamond Harbour to Kolkata and the only road for the connecting Diamond Harbour to Kolkata. So these are the visuals right now. As you see, the locals have gathered, the crowd is mobilized, and they all are demanding repolling in the Falta Assembly constituency. Back to you.
We will continue to track whether or not a repolling takes place in Falta, which has become a flashpoint in the state of West Bengal. Thanks so much for joining us and giving us all the information from on ground. Now, Shravan, you know, exit polls have come out. I'm anxious, like my board results are set to come out on May 4th because, exit polls are the only queue.
Think about what the politicians would be going through today, because as I understand, Mamata Banerjee, Abhishek Banerjee are carrying out an internal meeting. In fact, there is some reports emerging that Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee have essentially told the polling agents that they're looking at a number going over 200. So it's a way, perhaps just 24, 48 hours before, where you would have, you would have essentially, this messaging being done by the top leaders that all is well. But what we witnessed after the polling was over, the element of nervousness within the Trinamool Congress camp, primarily because you have the chief minister of the state who has actually gone to the strong room, has made a sensational allegation that there is, tampering that is going on, postal ballots that have been tampered with. Now, what we are going to do over the next couple of minutes, take our viewers through some of those critical areas that we've been talking about, critical seats that we've been talking about, and why that could be, in a sense, changing the nature of the results to begin with. In fact, Ishita, these seats become extremely critical in the state of West Bengal.
Right, of course, so these are the numbers that are only cue to what could happen on 4th of May. These are swing seats, seats essentially that have voted for one party but could now swing the other way. So let's break down these numbers for our viewers, essentially showing how this election could turn out and go a different way altogether.
Well, in fact, these numbers that you see, viewers, is of 2021. The reason why we have selected these numbers are primarily because if you see what Ishita is showing you right now, it's the win margin. Just look at how slender these margins are. In Dinhata, where the BJP won last time, the margin was only about 57 seats. Now, we're going to come to the point as to whether at all this is going to have any impact, particularly of the SIR. That we're going to show you which are the seats where there is a direct SIR impact that we're talking about. But take a look at this. Falakata, the BJP has won with 3,990 votes last time. This a slender margin again. Sitai, All India Trinamool Congress wins by 10,000 votes, a little over 10,000. So these three seats that we're bringing in from the Kuch Bihar Alipurdwar district. Now let's move to the other. Murshidabad. Now Murshidabad, if you remember this time, which went to polling in the phase 1, border district once again, a direct impact of the SIR, over lakhs of voters have been left out. They're saying these are ineligible to begin with. Here in Murshidabad, the BJP, we have made one mistake, I think, so the runner-up there, with the win margin was about 2,491. But one, it is, again, All India Trinamool Congress with about 2,749. That's, again, Murshidabad. Let's move on. In Howrah. Now, these are, again, Ishita, the seats which All India Trinamool Congress finds extremely comfortable, because it is said, the axiom in Bengal is that if you want to be in Nabonno, then you will have to come through South Bengal. And that's what been very, very critical for the Bharatiya Janata Party, because Howrah, Kolkata, North 24 Parganas, South 24 Parganas, these are considered to be the stronghold of the Trinamool Congress. Here in Bali, All India Trinamool Congress wins by about 6,237. Howrah Uttar, 5,522. Now, Udar Narayanpur, it is about 13,998. in the Howrah district itself. Now, that's another area which is considered to be a stronghold of the All India Trinamool Congress. Let's move to the other districts here. North 24 Parganas, it is Habra, All India Trinamool Congress 3,841. This is in Bonga Dakshin, that is about 2,000 votes, which the BJP had won last time. Barakpur this time, again, you have a turncoat there, Arjun Singh, who's taken over. In fact, Arjun Singh, last time 9,222 votes, Trinamool Congress had won. Bidhannagar,